And welcome back to the Weekly Tech Wrap with me, Jay.
And me, Karl.
And episode 234.
Yes.
Oh, and bit of a roundup this week of some weird stories, some interesting stories. We got a follow up on our conversation around the PC version of the new 007 game, First Light, which was giving us a bit of heart palpitation last week, wasn't it? Over the
Just
specs. Well, there's been a bit of a U-turn. In fact, I don't know if it's a U-turn or a complete and utter stop the ship.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this week we're going to talk how you can holiday on the moon for the cool sum of $250,000. Apple has finally decided what its AI strategy is going to be, and they're going to be partnering with Google. More on that in just a minute. Also, Apple has decided they want to compete with Adobe and have come out with Creator Studio, which, when we get to the meat of it, perhaps isn't as different as you might think, but there are some cool things there as well. As I mentioned, we got IO Interactive and First Light new requirements. Acer says that they're going to be dropping the RTX 5070 Ti as memory shortages are causing serious supply chain issues. Is this the death knell for them? Who knows? But we'll talk on that. Meta is laying off 10% of its staff from Reality Labs. Apparently, is looking to do more wearables. Is this the end of VR? Who knows? And Trump Mobile. Oh, yes, we hadn't forgotten about you. Well, nor the Democrats, as they want to investigate what's going on there. And the Tech Rat Rumor Mill is back this week. Welcome back. First rumor of 2026. And we've got analyst Jeff P. Is going to tell us his thoughts, or his words, should we say, on what the specs are for the iPhone 4, which I know Carl's desperate to know because that's why he's buying when it comes out. All right, then, come on. So, before we were on air, we were having a chat about personal situation around holidays and things like that. Well, I don't know about you, but do you fancy a holiday on the moon then?
Sure. I mean, I don't know what there is to do though. I'm guessing no pool, no tennis courts, and it's quite grey.
Cold, I suspect.
Cold. Yeah, definitely. Well, there's a new company called, is it GRU Space or Galactic Resource Utilization? It's short for. They are a startup. And they are saying that you can reserve a room by putting down a deposit for 250k, and that's a starting price. It could between 250k and $1 million is your deposit.
I
so
still think that's the low end. The million.
That's low. I don't know what it's actually going to cost you, and I'm pretty sure that probably doesn't include the flight to get you there. So maybe you need to pay what's it called, SpaceX for a flight as well. I'm not. They weren't overly clear on this.
Well, given that we haven't actually had any moon capable vehicles for some time.
No.
And isn't it the next Artemis flight is meant to go to the moon, isn't it?
Yeah, whenever that gets up and running.
Well, that was supposed to be this year, isn't it? But they're going to be doing, isn't it? Artemis 2, isn't it? That's the one, isn't it? Which is, I read the other day they were rolling it out, which aims to get a 10-day flight back to the moon. So I mean, maybe like you say, maybe you can get them to drop you off on the way there. Put down a flag or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so right, this GRU Space, this company, they are planning to launch their first lunar mission in 2029, and this will be to test inflatable structures and the process for creating moon bricks. So they're gonna take some of the lunar regolith, are they calling it?
Yes, that's the regolith.
How do you pronounce that? The lunar soil, basically, or whatever it is, and use geopolymers to turn them into sturdy bricks they can then build a hotel or structures out of. So second mission obviously going to be after that one, where they're going to launch a larger inflatable structure into a lunar pit to test a scaled up version of its resource development capabilities. So basically an inflatable factory. And then they're aiming for 2032 for the first hotel, which will be inflatable. Sounds amazing. And support up to 4 guests. And from there, they plan to build fancy structures built using these moon bricks. In the style of a palace of fine art.
Well, the rendering that's on the story, which was credited to GRU Space, like you say, it does look like something, isn't it? It looks like somebody dropped down, like you say, a museum of fine arts or something of that kind of.
OpenAI, make me a picture of.
Well, and it's even got. I just realised it's even got the moon boot footprints leading away.
That was so AI that made that one. Now,
I mean, oh dear God, no.
I wouldn't be getting your hopes up. Let's be honest, right? So this is a startup, but it only has 2 full-time employees, and the founder, Skylar Chan, he only graduated from Berkeley in May last year.
Well, look,
Hmm.
this is in America, the land of anything is possible. Cough.
Yep.
Um, Inflatable space things are not new, so that's
No, no.
been they've been experimenting that for some time. Bigelow Airspace was a previous company they closed 5 years
Yes.
ago who built inflatable modules for the ISS, and I think some of their technology actually has been bought by somebody else. I can't remember now. Sierra Space, wasn't it? I think
Yep.
that took over for them. So the technology does exist. And I think even NASA were looking at it, weren't they, previously? I'm sure I read once
Yeah.
something before, but they were looking at stuff. So none of it is a new concept.
No.
The key issue here is ultimately funding, getting the tech there, and like you say, there's always going to be somebody with more money than sense who's decided that they will put down a deposit on this. But
Yep.
yeah, the reality is, who is going to go? Who is going to pay for it?
Maybe Trump and Musk. I mean, do us a
Please,
favor.
actually, no, please do send him. Yes, excellent choice.
I don't know. So I'm interested to see where this goes. But I'm not expecting much, if I'm honest.
No, I think this will fizzle out. I think it could go one of two ways. It'll either fizzle out, or I think the technology, if it is, they've got good tech, they've got good ideas. Perhaps it could be a point where they design good tech that gets swallowed up by somebody else, which
Yep.
is a possibility. That happens, doesn't it? And like you say, SpaceX. If we're serious about this for a second, SpaceX slash NASA are the realistic, you targets for actual space exploration to the moon restarting. And as we mentioned, Artemis 2 mission, which is supposed to take off soon, which hasn't,
Yep.
um, along with SpaceX, who are looking to design it. You've got Starship and all that jazz. It is going to happen. I think at the moment, it's not going to happen anytime soon. That's the problem, is
No.
it? But I don't know.
Right.
I would love to see boots on the moon,
Of
within
course.
our lifetime. Now, according to NASA, and I just looked this up actually because I was unsure. According to NASA, the Artemis 2 mission, which is a bit like Apollo 10, they did a flyby of the moon,
Yep.
um, will launch no later than April 2026, according to NASA's page.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Crew of 4. The rocket is roll out to pad is happening soon. To test, I think test rollout.
Yeah.
Very, very, very close. Will it fly? Who knows?
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. So
Other big
let's
news.
talk about something more realistic, but as in more realistic to happen, should we say?
Yeah. Yeah. So, announcement, was it yesterday?
It was, yeah,
Or
I
the
think
day
it was.
before?
Yeah.
Apple and Google, they've officially partnered to integrate Gemini into the next generation of Siri, the one we've all been waiting for. So they're a multi-year collaboration. So Apple will get access to Gemini models, for its foundational AI, which when I read the headline, I was kind of worried about because I don't really want my data with Google.
But it's not going to be that, though, is it?
No. So Apple, obviously, when they first announced the AI stuff, they talked all about on-device AI, and for when you needed more power, they had private cloud compute, didn't they? Built on
Yeah.
M chips in their own data center. It's a kind of a between your device and OpenAI, for example. But yeah, so they'll still be using that structure. The idea of keeping all your data safe and it never gets to Google. Yeah, I mean, look, it's got to be better than what we've currently got with she who cannot be named.
I think you're right, and I think Apple probably internally have admitted that we can't win this race on our own. Is it? Their
No.
strategy doesn't allow it. So why not go to somebody who is doing this well? And for all kind of accolades, Gemini has, I think, had a massive boost in the last year or so compared to how it was on release, and
Mm.
prior to that, how Google's AI strategy was. And I think that's because they've internally brought together DeepMind and the other Google AI technology platforms into one business unit, and that's really, really showing some
Yeah.
clear improvements. And as you said, it's going to be on private cloud compute, so you're not going to have that data leak issue, or at least there shouldn't be.
No.
And you know what? As long as it works, things like with the app intents, that they talk about, so it
Yeah.
can plug into, hey, you shouldn't be named. take this photo or send this photo to Bob and Steve on Slack, with the message. Yeah, you see, as long as it can read the apps and get integrations into the apps, I think
That's
there.
the bit, isn't it? Apple.
Yeah,
Apple are going to concentrate on all the context and intents and let Gemini do the heavy lifting processing.
yeah, and do you know what? It'd be great if I could actually be driving in my car and say, "Hey, you shouldn't be named. Uh, take a quick note on this, and then email Karl to tell
Yeah.
him want to do this in the podcast tomorrow." At the moment, I mean, that's just not possible, is it? It's
No.
well, if it is, it's convolutedly difficult.
It is. It is. Yeah.
And it would probably say, "Do you want me to actually? Do you want me to put that on your iPhone? Have you got your iPhone? I can show that on your iPhone if you've got it nearby."
No, I'm driving. Use the context.
Yeah. Would you like me to open that in ChatGPT? Actually, you know what? Probably, yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, the article didn't say, or I haven't read anywhere, an actual figure on how much Apple will be paying Google for this. Maybe they're just gonna charge Google a little less for putting Google as a default search engine. Who knows? But it is claimed to be a multi-billion-dollar deal, so no small change. And apparently, OpenAI they kind of declined the offer to partner with Apple for Siri.
I wonder whether or not, because I wonder whether that's to do with the cloud compute thing.
Probably. OpenAI seems to want your data more than Google does.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's be honest. We all know in the world of AI, data is king, isn't it? Data is gold, and
Yep.
that's where it is. And
Maybe Google's got enough other ways of getting hold of your data, whilst OpenAI does not.
and you're right. Google's already embedded in the Apple ecosystem anyway. It's not they're not a new player to this space, are they?
No.
So I think look, I would say that this could be a good thing as long as it gives us the she shouldn't be named how we expected it. So was it 2 years ago, 18 months ago, they talked about how it was going to be
Yes, they did.
conversational, you're going to get personalization, all that stuff. None of it's happened. Now,
No.
did you see the other day though that Google did release there was a press release on personalization for Gemini?
No, missed that one.
Yeah, so there was a personalization for Gemini that can plug into all of your apps
Okay.
and give you almost, it was saying it was AI Gemini with AI personalization. That was it. And it's
Right,
get
okay.
more personal context in. So it's personalized help based on your information. And you ask it what to remember. It brings previous chats in. It knows about your data. So you give it access, obviously, if you're a Gmail, things like that properly. And it starts becoming, and one of the, I was reading a review that was saying that when this got public, this press release came out, it was like, is that perhaps kind of an example of what we could see with she shouldn't be named, coming down the line.
Yeah. I mean, I would feel safer doing that with Apple than Google by itself without that kind of layer in between.
Yeah, but as I say, I think as we said, it's going to be, on device. It's going to be compute cloud. I wonder when we're going to see it though, because they talk about multi-year, don't they? They don't say when; they just say multi-year collaboration.
Yeah.
I wonder whether we'll start to see some of this drip fed, perhaps early iOS 27. I don't think.
Yeah,
I
maybe
would be shocked.
another section in the next September event to talk about.
Yeah, I doubt we'll see anything in iOS 26 because we're on dot 3 now, aren't we? Which is beta in dot 3,
Yeah.
and we'll probably get a dot 4. I would be surprised if we might see. I mean, I wouldn't. It's not impossible.
Did they need to actually change anything on iOS for this? Because surely they built a lot of this out in iOS 26, ready for their own version. It's only changing the
Yeah, I
back
guess.
end.
Yeah,
The
no.
connection to the what we call it again, the private cloud compute is already there. Yeah, so they probably don't have to do much from an OS point of view. Not to start putting stuff in.
No, I suppose you're right. I mean, yeah, I mean, it probably doesn't need a lot in the back end. You're right.
Well, even when you're speaking to the voice assistant, that's all done in the cloud anyway. Or, okay, some of it's done on locally. Can't change that without really having an OS update. But the stuff it goes and speaks to the cloud for could be changed.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right. We may see early parts of this then, perhaps sooner than
Yeah.
sooner than needed. But Okay, well, I look. It is a major story. More will be coming on this, I'm sure, in a few weeks. We'll pick up on that. But yeah, Apple have made a decision, haven't they? They have decided that this is where we are going, and it is down the road, hand in hand, with their friends from Mountain View. Well,
Yes, loads of money.
so talking of money, then, fancy another subscription?
Oh, you know me, I love a subscription.
Yes, you do, sir. Yes, you do. Well, if you were feeling that you hadn't got enough Apple owned applications on your phone, well, from the 28th of January, you will be able to get Apple Creator Studio direct from the App Store
Yep.
for either the princely sum at the moment of $12.99 per month or
Dollars.
129 per
Yep.
year US dollars. Also get 1 month free, and in that you're going to get, because I know you're itching to know what you're going to get in this.
Of course
You're
I
going to
am.
get Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, Pixelmator Pro. Remember they acquired that, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah, we
On
did.
Mac and iPad. You're going to
Well,
get
that's good because Pixelmator Pro wasn't available on iPad, so that's a
no,
new
it was
feature.
yeah. You're going to get Motion, Compressor, and Main Stage. All of those other audio apps as well. You're going to get updated AI features across all of the applications, including the core productivity apps, which is your Keynote, Pages, and Numbers.
Yep.
And there'll be premium content for Freeform, which was another acquisition of which I think I had on my phone as well. For
Yeah.
that as well. And one of the things they're doing here is bundling it all together, because Final Cut Pro and Logic Pro were super expensive applications, weren't they? Really,
Yes.
on their own. I think they were at least $300 a piece in the
Yeah. Final
US.
Cut was $300. Logic Pro was $200.
Yeah. So what I mean, a lot of this is going to become, AI driven. So there'll be new AI capabilities across the applications. So alongside things like Image Playground, you're going to have new image creation inside. What do you call it? A content hub where
Yep.
they'll be able to find illustrations and graphics. Which, if you think that is targeting Adobe Express,
Or
um,
Creative Cloud.
the Creative Cloud as well, from the larger things, there'll be new AI functions across Final Cut for both types of devices. Logic Pro, there'll be new, I think I saw, was it a synth player, so you'll have an AI session player who can play multiple parts and different instruments alongside you.
Nice.
There's another one which I thought was really amazing, was a chord progression, so it can listen through a MIDI input to a chord you play, and
Yep.
through AI give you a progression of what that song could sound like. So
Oh,
there's
okay.
some really interesting things going here.
Interesting.
But I was hoping for something. I don't know. I don't know what I was hoping for. Maybe I was hoping for something new, something fresh, maybe with inside this.
Yeah, it's bundling with the only new thing really is Pixelmator Pro being available for iPad. But we've already had Pixelmator Pro for Mac and iPhone, haven't we? So
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It was this is they're now, I think, bundling it together means that they're targeting Adobe. They're trying to bring the Gen AI capabilities in. Subscription means that people are more likely to buy it as a service and not let
yeah,
go of it. The student pricing is quite good. That was 299 a month,
yeah,
$30 a year for all that, which actually I thought was really good.
that's a bargain.
Actually,
But Microsoft does the same. Adobe do the same for students, don't they? Get them hooked on a cheap thing while they're a student and using it all the time. They then learn it. They don't want to move anywhere else, and then they get the bill.
no, you're right. And Final Cut and Logic Pro are, well, they are professional tools in their own right, and there are used by multiple studios and places and people across the world. So I guess if you can get in early and get access to it, then why not? Why
Yeah,
not?
that's an interesting one because I'm seeing more and more, especially when it comes to video editing now, that people are just moving to DaVinci Resolve, and
Well,
that's
yes,
free. That's
that's the key thing.
if you want, there's a free version which is very competent, but even if you want the full version, it's $300 for a lifetime. They're not subscription, just buy it outright, free upgrades.
Yeah, that's a good point. It does.
I think if you were getting into that, you'd be better learning on that one. Uh, uh, they subsidize that by hoping you'll buy the hardware later on, and loads of movie studios buy their hardware for the creative side. So if you learn that, I think you'd be in good stead going into that industry.
I think so. I think you're right. It's a very good stepping stone, isn't it? To get
Yeah,
hands on with these tools. And if you're education or a student or whatever, then yeah, it's and you can afford it. Of course, it's always important to state that. Then it's a great way in. I might try the month free to see have a look because I'm curious about some of the other stuff. The content
Mm.
hub and all that things. I've never really used Keynote Pages numbers in anger. Played with them a few
No.
times.
Yeah, I've also just downloaded the Microsoft Office on the phone, on the iPad, on the Windows, on the Mac.
Okay, Windows. Sorry, say that again. I misunderstood you. So you
I've always
downloaded.
obviously Keynote Pages numbers. They're the
Yeah.
Office suite. I've always just downloaded
Oh
Microsoft
yes,
Office
yes. Sorry, I
and use that.
misunderstood you. I was
It's one
thinking.
of the first thing that gets installed, so I don't
Yeah,
use
yeah, yeah,
Keynote
yeah.
Pages.
I was thinking to myself, he's installed Office on his Mac. I was thinking that's not new.
No. But
um,
instead of Keynote Pages and numbers, I think I've uninstalled those from my iPad and my iPhone.
yeah, I think they're on my Mac. I mean, actually, I know they're on my Mac because this morning I tried to open a CSV file and it defaulted to numbers.
Oh, okay.
Which I'll be
Not what
honest
you
with you.
wanted.
Well, actually, it made it a lot prettier than it did in Excel.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
So I was, but it wasn't saving it properly. But it did look very nice, put that way. I just wish though. I mean, I'd love to be able to use some of the tools like Logic, Final
Yeah.
Cut. I wanted to play with them. I'd love to be able to do video tuning properly, but it's such a skill and such a time-consuming skill as well.
And
It's not going to happen.
it's not just that. It's the time to learn, but it's finding resources to teach you.
Well, yeah, that's true.
There is a lot of content for things like I've seen for DaVinci Resolve and for what's the Adobe version called? Their video one. No, I can't remember. It's not a
Lightroom's finished.
Photoshop. It's not
Lightroom's.
Lightroom. It's
Oh gosh,
no, I
what is
can't
it?
remember.
It is Premiere, isn't it? Premiere.
Premiere. Yeah, you can go to YouTube and you get loads of videos for that and DaVinci Resolve. Not really seen too much on Final Cut. I'm sure it's out there. Maybe it's just because I'm not looking for it.
Perhaps, yeah, perhaps you're right. I mean, Final Cut always looks so complex though. Whenever I look at it, it's just like, oh my god, what is this?
Look, I think they're all probably fairly simple depending on what you want to do. If you just want to stick a load of footage from a GoPro or your camera or whatever event, slap it in, cut some bits off the end and out in the middle, and put it on a timeline, and just hit export and give me a MP4 at the end of it. They're all pretty much the same and fairly easy. It's when you want to start adding layers and special effects and tracking that they start getting a lot more complicated.
Yeah, no, but I think, like I say, I'll go. I'll take the free trial. I'll have a look at it, and we'll go from there. But I won't be subscribing long term. It'll be more of a review. I think
Yeah, I'll review.
All right, then. So let's keep moving then. So, Interactive. What have you done? What have you done?
Was it last week we spoke about this one?
It was only last week, sir. We spoke
It
about
was, yeah. So, yeah, I interacted with 007 First Light. They have said that after the community flagged some inconsistencies in an earlier version of the listing, they've they've updated this. And there's an early mistake was due to an internal miscommunication into an older version of the specs to be shared. After a thorough re-examination and additional testing, we basically changed the specs. Now, they're not by a huge amount. Some are. It's mainly around the RAM that's been updated, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So I think they still haven't released specs for 1440p or 4K. But if you are wanting to run 1080p at 30 frames, they used to say you needed 16 gig of RAM and 8 gig VRAM. That's still 16 gig of RAM, but only 6 gig VRAM. So that
Which is
I don't
more
think
in
it was.
line with,
Yeah, I don't think it was ever the minimum that was a massive problem for people. But the recommended is where they said, for 1080p 60 frames, you need 32 gig of RAM and 12 gig VRAM, which cuts out a lot of cards.
yeah, I mean, it was done, wasn't it, for most people?
Yeah. Well, they've halved the RAM down to 16. So regardless of which one you want, 30 or 60 frames, you need 16 gig of RAM now. But if you want the 60 frames per second, you need to bump your 6 gig of VRAM to 8 gig of VRAM now, rather than 12. So a little better, but still quite high for only 1080p.
Yeah, I was also intrigued that their minimum processor for the recommended PC spec was an i5 13500. So again, the CPU specs are still. I mean, they're not overly.
What are we on now? We're 14th generation is current. They've just announced Panther Lake, but it hasn't hit the shops yet, which will be the 15th generation. So yeah, it's a generation or two old. And the same for the Ryzens. We're on the 9000 series now. That's a 7000. So yeah, previous generation on both of those. For recommended anyway.
Yeah, look, I mean, it certainly makes it slightly more attractive. I mean, let's be honest, we were probably going to get it anyway, weren't we? But
Yeah,
to
I
your
was hoping
point,
it was going to be in Game Pass or something.
it would be nice to see the 1440 specs as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
at minimum,
and how,
yeah. You've
well,
got a
yeah, have a
4K display,
comparison.
haven't you?
Pardon?
You've got a 4K display, haven't you, if you're on
Oh,
your gaming
4K
PC?
display. Yeah.
And I'm in the middle
Uh,
between 1440p and 4K because I've got the ultra wide. So
so yeah, I think you're right. We need to have there needs to be a comparative point on this as well. So yeah, look, it's an interesting climb down for them.
yep.
But at least they put the hand up rather than and maybe it was an innocent mistake. Maybe it was. Who knows? But
Or,
definitely,
or was
you
it
know,
was it more along the lines of crap? We've just seen the price of RAM go through the roof.
yeah.
No one can afford
Quickly,
to run this game, or if they do, it's going to be panned because it's going to run so badly. We need to optimize, guys.
I'm just going to say quickly, trim those textures down and do something.
Yeah, exactly.
No, absolutely. I think it's definitely going to be more playable for us. But yeah, at that point.
Yeah.
Well, talking of playable though, I know you're
Ooh.
going to tell me you need to buy, we need to buy them, but
Well,
it
I did
looks
tell you
then.
twice now.
Oh, yes, but there's other things I need to pay for, as we discussed earlier offline.
Yeah.
Um, Asus then is knocking on the head the 5070 Ti. Then it seems that they've decided they're no longer going to keep producing them.
Well, it's not just that though. So yeah, basically, obviously, we know RAM, VRAM, SD plus all go through the roof. But yeah, this is caused kind of Asus to say, right, basically, any of the 16 gig cards they do, so the 5070 Ti or even the 5060 Ti model with 16 gig of RAM, because that comes with 8 or 16, depending which one you get. We're end of lifing it. It's not that Nvidia are. Nvidia are still happy to sell this, but I presume the pricing is going quite through the roof for it, and
Yeah.
it's not really worth it on what they view as a lower cost card. You know,
Well, like you say, this is as you say the Nvidia Nvidia statement is that they are still shipping the SKUs, aren't they, for
yes,
all of them?
yeah.
But OEMs, including Asus, have a different story, isn't it? That they usually say these. So what's that? That's the 5070
Ti, which
Ti's
comes with
and the
16
50
gig,
and the
and the
1560.
5060, which you can get in either an 8 gig or a 16 gig model. Asus are stopping the 16 gig, still continuing the 8 gig. So look, I think, and it might not. I actually suspect Asus won't be the last one to announce this one. But yeah, if you want 16 gig of RAM, you need a 5080 now, or more. You get the 5090 with 32 gig of RAM. But I must admit, it does leave a bit of a gap in the lineup because I was having a quick look beforehand, and a 5060 Ti 8 gig in English pounds costs around 350 starting price. Okay, if you want a 5070 with 12 gig, it's 510. Now, if you want 16 gig now, you've got to go to a 5080, which starts at £1,070. So double the price of a 5070 to get 4 more gig of RAM.
Mm.
So, yeah, that's yeah. Game developers need to start programming for 12 gig of VRAM and not anymore.
It's a strange world we live in right now, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Really is a
That's...
strange world we live in. I mean, those 5070 Ti's are, are kind of a sweet spot at the minute, aren't they? I guess.
Yeah, because they were around £700 starting price, but with 16 gig of RAM.
Yeah.
I bought a 5060 Ti 16 gig a month ago. I can't remember what it cost me now. 400. Wasn't a huge amount more than the 5060 Ti 8 gig. So I thought I'd just grab the extra 8 gig, obviously.
Oh, you're right. I need one. Can I afford one? No.
No. It's certainly not a 5080.
No. No.
But
And it's
you either buy one now, or you're gonna have to wait this out until you can't anymore because you've got games you want to play that need more than 8 gig.
well, yeah, and I think even it's not even. I don't think it's worth getting a 5060 Ti though either.
No.
Because the 5060
Yeah.
Ti has only got a marginal increase over the 3070, I think.
Or you go for a 5070 with 12 gig.
Yeah, but I just don't feel that that's given me
Enough.
a good
4
enough
more gig of
improvement.
VRAM versus doubling what you've got. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a real conundrum, sir.
We've
Real
had this
conundrum.
conversation many times. This is not an easy decision.
No, I can't, and it isn't happening. It isn't happening. But yeah. So there you go. Then Asus, who knows what could be following now? But yes, it does appear that OEMs at least have decided that the end is nigh for
Yep.
16 gig Blackwells at least. So
Yeah.
oh dear. So then, talking of Meta, then so Meta actually announced this week. Sorry, I should say the rumors are announced that Meta are set to announce within the next week a 10% layoff of their Reality Labs business, which is kind of their VR and metaverse and all that, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it's a bit crazy because obviously Meta rebranded from Facebook to Meta to be the whole metaverse VR thing. So they renamed the entire company around VR, and now they're kind of cutting it, aren't they? 10% or 1,000 jobs. And they basically said, there was a statement from Tracy Clayton. And I said basically last month we did state last month we were shifting some of our investments from the metaverse towards wearables. This is part of that effort, and we plan to reinvest savings to support the growth of wearables this year. So they're not stopping VR, but they are shifting more to mobile devices, wearables. So like the Ray-Bans, wasn't it? They're the AI
That's right.
glasses.
And also AI as well. There was a statement that saying that they've increased the budget for TBD Labs, which is like a skunk works unit that is working on the artificial general AGI. So I think VR has, despite our love for it, VR really has never become mainstream, has it?
No.
And Meta, despite, let's be honest, Meta are I wouldn't say the gold standard, but they're the mainstream standard for VR these days.
They're definitely the leader by numbers, aren't they?
Yeah.
They've sold an awful lot.
But the metaverse itself really hasn't had the uptake I think they were expecting, especially from businesses. It really hasn't taken over, has it? This metaverse, VR social network and getting people in.
Because you still got that problem. It's a social network, and not everyone wants a social network, and certainly not for business.
Yeah, it's a real difficult one, and and Microsoft clearly just they got out of that game. They sold I don't think they sold it, did they? But they handed off the contracts for their VR AR headsets to Andrel and Palmer Luckey, wasn't it? And go from there. So they're getting out of that business. And look at where he's going now. They're flying because they've decided to channel into the military with the AR stuff. And obviously, Meta, I don't think are going to play in that space at all, are they? Really? But
no. As you're out on the battlefield being shot at, get some likes on your social feed.
Yeah, ding ding. What's that? Just a thumbs up from my friend.
Well done.
What did you do? I just posted my latest gun cam shot.
Not somewhere where the Meta's going.
No, but again, more layoffs in the tech industry, more impact and I appreciate compared to their overall staffing numbers, a 10% layoff of that is a small, but it's still layoff, isn't it? And it's still perhaps
of course
is that an indication?
Lives,
of course. And is that an indication of actually the wider strategy for Meta on where they see their business going? And I think it might be. It'll be interesting to see how much the Steam frame that we're interested in is going to cost, isn't it, when they come out?
Well, this is the problem. RAM pricing again and storage. It's going to push. It's going to be more expensive than we hoped or we thought, I think.
Well, the frame is meant to release early 2026, according to.
They all are. They're all.
Well, yes, all of
some pricing.
But I think didn't we reckon around 1,000, didn't we? I think when we spoke about it before.
Well, they said it was going to be cheaper than the Index, which was 1,000.
Yeah, but given the current situation,
given RAM price, I reckon we might be back up there at 1,000. You're right.
Yeah, I think we will be. Absolutely.
So,
all right then. So before we get to the rumor, let's talk about Trump Mobile then.
So let's refresh. It's been a while. Okay, so Trump Mobile announced the T1 phone. It was initially meant to ship in August/September of last year, and the initial images were clearly an iPhone, photoshopped gold with a T1 logo on the back and an American flag. But they said
Didn't it change? Didn't it change for Samsung?
No, that was when it initially won. They said it was going to cost $500 and it'd be entirely made in the US. It then became a Photoshop Gold Samsung S25, and rather than made in America, it changed to American hands behind every device. Anyway, It did not ship in August or September. In fact, it still hasn't shipped. Well, look, none of this is really surprising. Trump Mobile was charging what $100 deposit. Well, now apparently some Democrats, led by Senator Elizabeth Warren and Rep. Robert Garcia, they've urged the FTC to investigate Trump Mobile for alleged false advertising and deceptive practices. And they're kind of questioning, has the FTC already opened an investigation? If not, why? And also they're asking to commit to treating Trump Mobile with the same standards as other companies to ensure a fair enforcement.
Really? Same
Look,
standards?
let's be honest. The FTC is a government agency basically owned by Donald Trump. They're not going to investigate one of his own businesses, are they?
No, not at all.
This isn't going anywhere.
I'm going to come out and say it. It may not be a scam in the sense that they've set it up as a scam, but it is definitely a scam in what its outcome is going to be, isn't it? So,
you're not getting what you've been promised.
Or what you might get is
something maybe one day. It's certainly not made in America. There are no American hands behind it other than the Photoshop job. The hardware is going to be terrible. Well, it certainly would if it's made in America because you're not going to get much for 500. But it's not going to be made in America. It's going to be made in Taiwan or China or somewhere cheap.
Well, they were quick to. It was quick to disappear, wasn't it?
That was along with basically what the specs were of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just it's a mess. What's that saying? A sucker and his money are easily parted.
So a fool in his money, isn't it? A fool in his money.
That was it. A fool in his money easily parted.
It is something when you look at this and think to yourself, what the hell is going on? That will go nowhere. You're right. They can ask all day to be investigated, but it won't happen.
No, not at all.
It won't happen. It's just complete joke. Given that the head of the FTC, as you say, is a stooge of his, but hey ho.
It's not happening. It's not happening at all.
Well then. Okay, so first rumor of the rumor mill of 2026. What have you got in the bucket for us then?
Well, before we came on air, we were discussing how to pronounce this guy's last name. I'm going to spell it because Jeff, then P-U. So we'll leave it at that. Now, he's basically reiterated that the upcoming iPhone Fold will rely on Touch ID rather than Face ID. But more juicy, he has the specs. Or alleged specs of the iPhone 18 Pro, Pro Max, and Fold lineup. They are still apparently all coming in September 26th because the cheaper ones are moving till the January, aren't they? Or January, February the year after.
Yeah, this is a good point before we go further. That's a good point because there is a lot of evidence suggesting, as you say, that Apple are going to split their release dates, aren't they? Which is going to cause, I think, it's going to cause some interesting conundrums for people who and the refresh cycle. But yeah, sorry to interject on that.
No, exactly. So he's obviously saying that the Pro is going to be 6.3 inch, the Pro Max 6.9, and the Fold is 7.8 inch unfolded, but with a 5.3 inch screen on the front. They'll all be running an A20 Pro chip with an N2 chip and WMCM, whatever that is. I wasn't sure what that one was.
I'm not sure, no.
But they'll all be running the same, so basically running the same chipset SoC. They'll all have 12 gigabytes of LPDDR5. Camera-wise, front 18 megapixel, 6 megapixel, I presume. I'm not sure what that's about, why we've got two things there, but pretty standard, okay? What else? Anything?
Here you are.
Yeah.
The MWCM is a packaging.
Okay, that's the packaging technology. Right.
It's a departure from TSMC's Info, which is integrated fan out technology. So WMCM integrates the CPU, GPU, neural engine, and RAM directly onto the wafer. So you don't need any other separate imposter layers. So that's what it was about. There you go.
Makes sense. So he mentioned that Touch ID will be returning, like on the iPad Mini has Touch ID rather than Face ID. You'll be getting out in the Fold because otherwise they're going to try and stick the Face ID array underneath the screen, which isn't quite ready yet. But the most interesting thing for me, actually, not so much the specs, they're kind of expanded, and we didn't talk about this when we first heard the news, is about the proportions of the device, of the Fold.
Yes. This is
So
quite,
yeah, the pictures in the article. So have a look. It's kind of hard to describe, but we were kind of all expecting basically take, I don't know, an iPhone Pro, uh, and then double it when it's unfolded. But that's not the kind of screen ratio. I would say it's more like the screen ratio of the Surface Duo, Microsoft one. It's a bit more squat, isn't it?
yeah, I
Bit
think it
more
is.
like 4:3 rather than 16:9 when it's folded up, and when it's opened up, it will basically be an iPad Mini, the same ratio.
Yeah, so I mean, it definitely looks. It's a very
It's a bit
squat
wider than a
device.
normal phone, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure I quite like the look of the unfolded
I
version of
quite
it.
like the look of that one actually. Yeah, folded up.
It's a bit. It's very chunky.
Yeah, they're all chunky. Have you played with the fold phone? I've
Well,
played with
yeah,
the
no, fair
Samsungs and
point.
the
Yeah,
Google ones in the stores, and they're all quite chunky. But yeah, this is wider than those other ones. Maybe not quite as tall.
blocky. Then blocky. Is that a better word for you? Blocky.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but I think with all this, you're going to have to go and have a play with it. As I said, suspected, I will probably buy this on day one. I'm going to be the sucker, so I will be reporting back on how good or bad it is. I'm hoping good. We'll
Oh,
see.
who knows? Who knows? I mean, I, I think it's an interesting device. Am I as keen as you? Probably not.
But then I have an iPad Mini. I chose to go for the smaller iPad, not because of costs, but because of I like the form factor, and I have a MacBook or a Windows laptop for anything bigger than that. I just want this a pure consumption. So the fact that I could basically carry an iPad Mini around without having two separate devices kind of appeals to me.
So yeah, I mean, what's the thickness here? Do you reckon though? Because that's one thing that
Well, they were
didn't really
saying,
say.
is it 5 or 6 millimeters unfolded? I think they were aiming for 9 millimeters folded, which is fairly
Yeah,
thin phone still.
I mean, look, it's for me, the iPhone 18 Pro Max is where I'd be sitting because
Yeah.
that's my natural upgrade 2 year cycle.
Yeah.
Get all of that. But yeah,
Look, still no pricing. Pricing is going to be a touchy one, isn't it? But I'm suspect. Look, I think I could offset a large chunk of that cost by selling my iPad Mini and my current phone.
For me, I think you know my views. I'm not as enthusiastic as you are,
Yeah.
but I'm still open to seeing what happens. I'm open to seeing
Yeah.
what it comes out with and those early reviews and seeing. I guess the other thing is seeing what does it look like in reality. What
Yeah,
is the
that's the
actual?
big one, isn't it? I think I need to go into a store. I'll be honest, I'm going to have to do a pick up on the day and have a look at it. And I get there, look at it, go, nope, and I walk out the store. or I switch to the Pro Max.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I have to go and see that hands on before putting down the money on that one.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's going to have to be some hands on. I think on this particular one.
Yeah.
So, but no,
But
it's
not
looking
long
good.
now, is it?
No, not long. No, not at all. I think we're going to start. The leaks on this, I think, are going to start coming thick and fast soon.
Yeah.
On it, but no, look, we're not far away. And we'll be soon. Before you know it, we'll be talking about Dub and all those kind of good stuff as well. So yeah, we're into that time already. It's moving fast, and January.
Mobile
We're already
Congress
midway.
coming up.
Yeah, we're midway through January. Mobile Congress, we say, coming up in March. RSA as well. Yeah, all the good stuff. But yeah, we'll catch up on that. So it's probably a good place for us to wrap up for today then. We'll be back next time with episode 235 with all the latest tech news and stories. And who knows, maybe IO Interactive will have changed the specs again for 007 First Light, but who knows. So with that, you can find us, of course, wherever you get your podcasts. We're on all of the main podcast feeds, including on YouTube if you'd like to get your podcast there. You can also find us at techrant.online and at Blue Sky as well at Weekly Tech Rant, where you can find the show notes, links to it, and we're happy to take your questions or anything like that as well. So with that, I've been Jay.
I've been Karl. Have a good day, all.